Welcome to Medical Sales Live, the #1 resource for breaking into medical sales and building your career.
Hello, Medical Sales Live. John Akers here, COO at Medical Sales College and co-host of Medical Sales Live. One of our goals at the college is to train our students on the clinical and selling skills necessary to secure sales positions after graduation. In fact, we invest over $3 million annually to fulfill that goal, which results in a 97% job placement rate of active graduates. Our graduates are hired in all specialties of medical device sales due to the transferable skill sets learned in our curriculum. Today, we're excited to bring you an excerpt of my conversation with Julia Marquardt, Corporate Accounts Executive with Boston Scientific. Over her 20-plus year career, Julia has hired dozens and interviewed hundreds of candidates in the medical sales industry. In this episode, Julia shares with us the top attributes hiring managers are looking for in candidates and how you can be prepared to nail your next interview. So without further ado, here's part of my conversation with Julia. Enjoy. I know that over the years, not only have you had many experiences as your career has continued to grow and blossom, but you've also granted that opportunity for many others by hiring them into the medical device sales arena. Tell me about, in roles for which you've been responsible for hiring salespeople, what are some of the attributes and some of the things that you look for as you're hiring these candidates?
Yeah, and I've had probably most of my career has been in either as a director or a regional manager. So I've done a lot of hiring and interviewing. And I would say that, certainly a track record of success sets you apart, and anything that can set you apart because the candidate pool is going to be competitive. The opportunity to make a great living in a very satisfying career is very competitive. So what you want to come to the interview ready for is one, be very prepared. Don't take for granted that what you've done or what you know is going to translate. Practice it, rehearse it, talk to your mom, your friends, and make sure that you're ready to have that dialogue with the person you're in front of. Don't shortcut preparation. And then the other things you look for is passion and energy and intelligence and great listening skills. I used to tell my team I have like a top 5. So I have a top 5: accountability, good judgment, processes, results, and coachability. So those are my areas that I always go to when I look for someone, and then as I'm developing my teams, because in those buckets pretty much I think encompasses what you're looking for, the whole picture. And one plug on coachability. That's another area in your interview. You want to be receptive to feedback. It's a gift. You want to hear what they say, whether it's not something you want to hear or you like or not, because everyone's looking to be able to develop you, and you want to showcase that. So coachability is huge.
Julia, that was fantastic. So as you go through those and you go through interviews, tell me, there's so much talk, and we look at candidates with how they are IQ and EQ, because both of those elements are obviously critical to success in our business, right? Tell me, how have you assessed those over the years? And is there one that's been more important, or just, I'd love your take and, how you've looked at candidates and how you've assessed those attributes.
Yeah, I think you're right. Everyone wants to have somebody who's intelligent. I remember talking to one of my directors, and they say, I look for intelligence in an interview. And I'm like, that's a good idea. I sort of just took that for granted, that everyone that was in front of me should be intelligent, but it's not always the case. Intelligence allows for the ability to learn, which is critical, or absorb information, and certainly an important component. So how do you assess for that? A lot of times it's just the same sort of questions, like, tell me about a time when, right? Tell me about a time when you had a challenge that you overcame it. And you get to hear their thought processes. So it's not always easy to assess intelligence, but that's some of the things you would do. But what's become really apparent is how important the emotional intelligence is in terms of not just for the person, but what it does for the company. Because what the studies show is the productivity goes up when the emotional intelligence is up. The ability to be creative, the ability to problem solve, the chance to capture different ideas goes up. So this becomes a big arena for us to have as an important qualification as you're recruiting or interviewing or attracting talent. Not everybody focuses on it, and so the question is, does everybody know what it is? It's empathy, right? It's truly identifying with your patients or the doctors that you're talking to, or your colleagues who might be having a tough time, or even why your boss doesn't call you back. Are you going to pick up the phone and go, "What the heck?" Or are you going to say something like, "Hey, you must be really busy. I was wondering if I could get some time in your calendar." That emotional intelligence allows for, almost like lubricates, collaboration. And I think that's why it's such a hot button right now in our industry.
Oh, it's really well said. Well said.
Remember to like and subscribe to this channel for the latest in all things medical sales.